How to buy a house without going broke, a practical guide to real estate investing. Hey there, future homeowner. Let me ask you something. Does the thought of buying your dream home in 2025 make you excited or absolutely terrified? Be honest. Because let's face it, with sky high property prices, interest rates that make you want to cry, and hidden costs lurking around every corner, it's no wonder so many people are asking, can I even afford to buy a house anymore? Here's the good news, you totally can. But, and this is a big but, you've got to do it the smart way. No one wants to end up house poor, right? That's why today we're breaking down how to afford your dream home without sacrificing your financial sanity. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll walk you through three tried and true rules to figure out how much home you can afford, real life examples, and my favorite hacks to make sure you're not just living in your dream house, but actually living your dream life. Whether you're saving for your first home or just trying to figure out if now is the right time to buy, this is the video you need. Ready? Let's do this. Understanding affordability. The first step to buying a home in 2025 is understanding what affordability really means. Spoiler alert, it's not just about what the bank is willing to lend you. Affordability is about making sure you can comfortably handle your mortgage payments without sacrificing your quality of life or your sleep at night. Factor in your lifestyle. Do you love eating out, traveling, or shopping? Those expenses don't magically disappear once you become a homeowner. Be honest about how much you spend on non essentials and make sure your housing budget leaves room for the things you love. And let's not forget the extra costs of homeownership. Beyond the down payment and monthly mortgage, you'll need to budget for property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and maybe even an HOA fee. A good rule of thumb is to set aside 1 to 3% of your home's value annually for maintenance. So if you're buying a $300,000 home, plan to save $3,000 to $9,000 each year for repairs. Finally, consider your savings. In 2025, having an emergency fund of at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses is more important than ever. Why? Because the economy can be unpredictable and you don't want to risk missing mortgage payments. The key takeaway? Affordability isn't just a number the bank approves, it's what fits your life and your goals. If your dream home pushes you into financial stress, it's not really a dream, is it? Timing the market versus time in the market. If you've been holding off on buying a home because you're waiting for the perfect time, here's a harsh truth: it doesn't exist. In 2025, the real estate market is as unpredictable as ever. Interest rates fluctuate, housing inventory can be tight, and prices vary wildly depending on where you live. Instead of trying to time the market, focus on your readiness. Ask yourself, do you have a stable income? Are you ready to settle in one location for at least 5 to 7 years? Do you have a solid down payment saved, ideally 20% to avoid private mortgage insurance, but at least 10%? If the answer is yes, you're likely ready to buy, regardless of what the market is doing. That said, it's still worth paying attention to a few trends. In 2025, some markets are cooling, especially in cities where prices skyrocketed over the past few years. This could mean more negotiating power for buyers. On the flip side, interest rates remain higher than pre pandemic levels, which affects your monthly payments. Use a mortgage calculator to see how different rates impact what you can afford. The second part of this principle is about staying in the market. Real estate is typically a long term game. Homes generally appreciate over time, meaning the longer you stay in your home, the more likely you are to build equity. So even if you buy at what feels like a bad time, staying put for several years can help you come out ahead. The three rules of thumb to affordability. When it comes to figuring out how much house you can afford, these tried and true rules will help you avoid biting off more than you can chew. Let's dive in. Rule 1, the 28-36 rule. This is like the golden rule of home affordability, as I mentioned earlier. The 28-36 rule recommends keeping your housing costs, think mortgage, property taxes, and insurance, at or below 28% of your gross monthly income. On top of that, your total debts, including car loans, student loans, and credit cards, shouldn't exceed 36% of your income. Let's say you earn $80,000 annually, which translates to about $6,667 per month. Using the 28% rule, your maximum housing budget would be $1,867 monthly. Now, if you also have $600 in car and student loan payments, you'd only have $1,800 left for housing under the 36% rule. Why it's great? This approach keeps your finances balanced, ensuring you're not drowning in debt. The downside, if you're eyeing homes in high-cost cities, this rule might feel limiting. Rule 2, the 30% rule. A simpler method, the 30% rule says to spend no more than 30% of your gross income on housing. It's straightforward and easy to apply. If you're making $80,000 a year, that's $2,000 a month for housing. With a 4% mortgage rate and a 20% down payment, you could afford a home priced around $300,000. Why it's great, it's easy to calculate and follow. The downside, this rule doesn't consider your other financial commitments like debts or savings goals. Rule 3, the 25% rule. This one's for the cautious spenders. The 25% rule suggests limiting your housing cost to 25% of your take-home pay, leaving plenty of room for savings and lifestyle expenses. Let's assume you bring home $60,000 annually, or $5,000 a month after taxes. Under this rule, your housing costs would be capped at $1,250 per month. With that, you could afford a home priced around $225,000 with a 30-year mortgage or $170,000 with a 15-year mortgage. Why it's great, it's conservative and gives you financial breathing room. The downside, like the 28-36 rule, it might feel unrealistic in areas where housing costs are through the roof. Creative strategies to afford a home. All right, now that you have a clearer idea of what you can afford, let's talk strategy. Because let's face it, with rising home prices, a traditional approach might not cut it. But don't worry, there are some clever hacks to make homeownership more attainable without draining your wallet. 1. House hacking. Turn your home into an income stream. Imagine owning a home where someone else helps you pay the mortgage. Sounds like a dream, right? That's the magic of house hacking. The idea is simple. Buy a property where you can live in one part and rent out the other. Example, let's say you buy a duplex for $350,000. You live in one unit and rent out the other for $1,200 a month. That rental income can cover a big chunk of your mortgage. Why it works? Not only do you reduce your net housing costs, but you also build equity while someone else helps you pay down your loan. This is especially great for first-time buyers looking to get their foot in the real estate door. And who knows, you might even discover your inner landlord. 2. Consider fixer-uppers. Buy low, build value. Ever heard of the saying, buy the worst house in the best neighborhood? It's advice that works if you're up for a little elbow grease. Purchasing a fixer-upper can be a fantastic way to save up front and build equity over time. Example, you find a house listed at $250,000 in a neighborhood where homes typically sell for $400,000. You invest $50,000 in renovations and voila. Your property's value increases to match the neighborhood average. Pro tip, focus on high return upgrades like kitchens, bathrooms, or curb appeal. And don't forget to budget for surprises because let's be honest, there are always surprises. Fixer-uppers aren't just a great way to save, they can also turn into serious investments when done right. Leverage first-time homebuyer programs. If the thought of saving 20% down feels like climbing Mount Everest, you're not alone. The good news? You don't always need to. First-time homebuyer programs can significantly lower the upfront costs of buying a home. FHA loans, these require as little as 3.5% down. For a $350,000 home, that's just $12,250, compared to the $70,000 you'd need for a 20% down payment. VA loans, if you're a veteran or active duty service member, you may qualify for a zero down payment loan. State and local grants, many states offer grants or forgivable loans for first-time buyers. Check out what's available in your area. You might be surprised at the assistance you qualify for. Hidden costs to watch out for. So, you've crunched the numbers, found the perfect home, and you're ready to sign on the dotted line. But wait, before you pop the champagne, let's talk about the sneaky hidden costs of homeownership. These are the expenses that catch so many first-time buyers off guard. Let's make sure you're not one of them. 1. Closing costs, the price of finalizing the deal. Closing costs are like the fine print of buying a home, and they can add up quickly. These are the fees you pay when you finalize your mortgage, and they typically range from 2% to 5% of the home's purchase price. Example, on a $350,000 home, that's anywhere from $7,000 to $17,500 in additional costs. Ouch, right? What's included? Think loan origination fees, appraisal costs, title insurance, and even prepaid taxes. Always ask your lender for a breakdown of these fees up front so you're not blindsided at the last minute. And don't forget to shop around for better rates. Yes, even on things like title insurance. 2. Maintenance and repairs, keeping your home in shape. Owning a home isn't just about paying the mortgage. You're also the go-to person for every creaky door, leaky faucet, and unexpected roof repair. Experts recommend budgeting 1% to 3% of your home's value annually for maintenance. Example, if your home is worth $300,000, you should set aside $3,000 to $9,000 a year. The reality, some years will be cheaper, but others might hit you with big ticket surprises like a broken HVAC system or foundation issues. Pro tip, create a home emergency fund to cover these expenses. Trust me, future you will thank you. 3. Property taxes and homeowners. Insurance, the non-negotiables. These are recurring costs that vary widely depending on where you live. Property taxes can be surprisingly high in some states, while homeowners insurance is essential for protecting your investment. Example, in some areas, property taxes might be $300 a month or more. Add another $200 for homeowners insurance, and that's an extra $500 monthly on top of your mortgage. Why it matters. These costs are often bundled into your escrow account, so you might not feel them directly, but they're still hitting your wallet. Research property tax rates and insurance premiums in your area before you buy. If you're choosing between two homes, these costs can be the tiebreaker. And our fourth, HOA fees, the cost of community living. If you're buying in a neighborhood with a homeowners association, HOA, be prepared for monthly or annual fees. These can range from $100 to over $1,000, depending on the amenities and location. What's included? HOA fees often cover landscaping, community pools, or security services, but they're mandatory, and skipping payments can lead to penalties. Example, a $300 per month HOA fee adds up to $3,600 a year. Ask for the HOA's budget and rules up front. Some associations are stricter than others, and you don't want surprises after moving in. 5. Utilities and upgrades, the ongoing expenses. Moving from a rental to a home often means higher utility bills, especially if you're upgrading to a larger space or one with older appliances. Example, heating, cooling, water, and electricity might cost an extra $100 to $200 a month compared to your rental. Upgrades, things like repainting, new furniture, or landscaping are often overlooked but can cost thousands. Factor these into your monthly budget and don't feel pressured to upgrade everything at once. Homes are a marathon, not a sprint. I recommend you to start with the rules and you'll be good to go. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more practical tips on real estate investing and personal finance. Have any questions or want more advice on navigating the home buying process? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences.